What's up, Renegade Nation? Before we begin the video, I want to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Iris Ohm, Fishcake, Forbidden Fan 12, Just Cyan, Saturn Coon, Smokin' Santa, Tenebris, Major, Luckless, Justin Perez, William Clark, Lunar Beats, Brian Imika Njoku, Virtue Will, Ross Lingard, Chris P., Lee Run Nan, Trent, Dimitri Rice, Maniacs, Avion Jays Turner, Fordrin, Spencer, Sean Anderson, Scar X Scar, Anthony Escobar, J Vibe, Brendan Wallace, Zaquan Little, Shadow Man, David Brown, Michael Polson, Ericles, Raven Fighter 91, Carol Rollman, Peter Kyo Lin, Dion Atwood, Joe Hardy, Icarus Crown, Ethan Vaughn, Melancholic Coffee, Dorian Wicks, Emmanuel Chavez, Ross Hatfield, KC, Chelsea Keel, Ezar, and as always, I'd like to give a big shout out to our executive producers Joshua Fix, The Gimster 101, Bevan Brummett, and Vincenzo. Thank you all very much for your support. If you wish to become a YouTube member, feel free to click the join button, which is down by the subscribe button right down below. And if you want to check out our Patreon, feel free to click the link down below in the description to find out more. We'll see you there. Oh, I got a new tool. Wait, is this a... Oh my gosh, dude, I can melt through metal now. Yay! Any upgrades available? Hello, hello. Yeah. You know what? I got a full minute of blowtorch. One thing about the pandemic from last year is that it really fucked up everyone's release schedules when it comes to movies, including A Quiet Place Part 2. Now the thing with A Quiet... Okay, I think they're gone. I think we can talk normally.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, sorry about that. By the way, we're trying to do ASMR. So if you ask for ASMR, you're not going to get it. I'm sorry.
Not from us. Go to Wyndham's channel.
That's right, Wyndham Whispers. Also, my family is... Did I tell you the story that my dad and my stepmom came to me and asked me for help for them to start a YouTube channel? They want to do like nature walks and
yeah, I think you mentioned that to me.
Yeah, nature ambiance and ASMR and stuff like that. I think that'll fit them very well because they kind of like doing like leisurely walks through the woods and like going to landmarks and stuff like that. There's plenty of cool landmarks here in the Appalachian Mountains to make ambiance videos, especially with like 360 video and shit like that.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool as hell.
I mean, like the Appalachian Trail is a pretty place all the way through, pretty much.
Oh yeah. In which there's
a mountain near here. I can't remember the name of it, like Blacktop or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet too.
There's actually a trail. There's actually another trail called the Creeper Trail.
Just gotta watch out for snakes up there.
That's true. There's also another one called the Creeper Trail that actually intersects with the Appalachian Trail at one point, and they've actually been there a few times, and they've gone on walks on that small section of the Appalachian Trail and the Creeper Trail.
She suggests on the Pine hallway at Sugar Hollow as well, because it's a cool place in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and also, you ever been to Little Stony Falls?
I don't think so.
Little Stony Falls is an awesome...
Oh, and there's the Blue Hole in Elizabethton as well.
Yes. Little Stony Falls is this little alcove that has this awesome waterfall and like little cave back there, and you can actually like go sit in the cave and the mist from the waterfall will come up and hit you. It's really cool. But I remember watching A Quiet Place the first time and just being absolutely terrified and just like I didn't want to talk because I felt like if I spoke, it would put them in danger. No, really. That was the feeling I got. You see, and again, John Krasinski proving time and time, proving himself to be a more than capable director.
Yeah.
Especially that being his debut,
because
man.
Once I saw that, and I had recently seen
Get Out,
I was like, dude. I think comedians making horror movies is like an untapped thing that needs to happen more because
Agreed.
Both of them nailed it, and then Jordan went and made Us, and I was like, maybe not.
Well, okay, I've actually went back and watched Us again, and visually the film is stunning. Visually, it's beautiful. I love it. Narratively, I see what he was trying to go for, but to me it was just a little too muddled.
It just wasn't a terrifying concept to me the same way that Get Out was.
True. That's the other thing too. Us, I felt suffered from, from its plot more than anything. Is that the mystery of the plot and who the others actually were. That was one of the more terrifying things. But then when we find out the full scope of everything, it's just like, oh, well.
It's like basically like the reveal didn't really live up to what I had already built in my head after watching the trailer. Like after I saw that trailer, my mind went like all kinds of crazy places that I was like, this is extremely interesting and this could be awesome. And then we got into it and realized that like a whole bunch of the shit that we saw in the trailer that looked like it could have been like some supernatural like stream of consciousness like nightmare type scenario was actually very literal and just ended up being kind of dumb, like in my opinion, like, and just wasn't that scary.
And now we're here with A Quiet Place Part 2, and we know what happened in the first one. I'm not going to spoil for anyone out there who hasn't watched the first one. If you have not watched the first one and you're watching this right now, what are you doing? Go watch it right now, then come back and watch our reaction.
It's baller. It's definitely one of the top 5 horror movies to come out in like the past 10 years, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, easily, dude. Easily. And great cast, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski. And now in this one, they've got Cillian Murphy. They've got Jimon Hansu, I believe, as well. They've got a really good cast in this one.
Oh, something else I'll give them we were talking about earlier. So I have this thing with horror films, right?
Uh-huh.
If you are unable to make a genuinely terrifying horror film creature, then your best bet is to make a movie where you show that creature as little as humanly possible and leave everything else up to the viewer's imagination. Movies that do that usually still end up being pretty scary, because one of my favorite ones that makes really good use of that is the first Sinister film with Bagul.
Yes.
And then I could tell just from the trailer of 2, they put Bagul on screen way too much in just the trailer, to the point where I was like, he's less creepy now that I've gotten way better looks at him.
And you see the creatures in this?
The creatures in this looked amazing.
They do. Like, and not only that, but also, have you seen like the sound design, what the sound design team did for like the sounds of the creatures? Like whenever their canals open up and they like start listening.
I haven't. Not really seen it.
Freaking amazing watching like the Foley team like come up with the different sounds. Guy has like a thing of cabbage and like it twists it very slowly and then like releases it very quickly, and it's just like
yeah. I mean, like
visceral.
Horror sound design is badass. Like the last time, like I remember hearing like some really cool stuff about behind the scenes sound design for horror was Dead Space. Where the 2 sound designers had an interview with Game Informer, I think, and I was reading about it in there, and one of them was talking about how, like, I literally went in the bathroom and made myself throw up to record it, like, as part of, like, my job for this, because getting, like, vomiting sounds that sounded legitimate was, like, really important for this game, and I was like, that's dedication right there.
That is dedication. That's full-on dedication. I give the guy 100% credit on that. And I think that's one thing that's underutilized in horror so much is that sound. And Dead Space was one they could have a lot of fun with because they're in outer space.
Yeah.
They can have so much fun with sound. And now this.
He also said they got to splatter a lot of fruit, like Gallagher style, for that game as well.
I love that idea. Just just shit like that. That's why I would love to be part of the Foley team if we ever make a film like a film that has like splatters and shit like that. I'd love like to have Matt there and just do the Foley stuff that way, because I would just I'd have so much fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, A Quiet Place Part 2 just released a new trailer, the final trailer. This is coming out here soon, and I'm still miffed about because the pandemic started right as this was about to come out. And I was like, they're not going to delay this, are they? Full-on delay. And I'm like, well, maybe we'll see it on a streaming service. Nope. They were fully dedicated to when like theaters started opening back up to release this.
So I'm cool with that because this is the kind of film I do want to see with a theater sound system.
Same. And hopefully whenever it does come out, you and me can go give it a watch and have some fun. Anyway, let's give this a watch, see what happens. Hey, John.
Oh, man.
That hurts.
Yeah.
How happened? A bomb, I think.
No. Bit more than that. Hey. This is as far as they've gone.
I don't know why you came all the way up here. There's nothing left.
There are people out there. People worth saving.
Most people had finally given up hope.
If all those reviews are correct, damn.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I remembered right before this was about to come out, like, I think it was 10 reviews came out. 10 reviews released on Rotten Tomatoes, and it had a score very similar to the first one. But then, when this got pushed back and delayed to indefinitely, they took all the reviews off. I guarantee you they took the snippets that were from those reviews of people who actually got to see it last year.
Made some revisions.
Well, not only that, well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, like, they've had plenty of time to cut this, splice this, and edit it and make it to where it's about as perfect as they can want it. Because, you know, when you have a full year to edit something and you're as dedicated to this project as John Krasinski has been, you know, you're going to make sure that it's as best as you can make it. And I'm thinking 100%, like, they took what those critics said and they took it to heart, and they were just like, okay, we have a little bit more time to work on this. Let's look at some stuff, and let's see if this works even better for us. And I'm hoping that you know, this lives up to it. Although I am worried about this.
Was the first one PG-13?
I don't think so. No, it was PG-13. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it was PG-13.
So I think that was one of the other things I remember saying, and I was impressed about it. Is I was like, that was really good for a PG-13 horror movie.
Because, okay, when it comes to certain violence, you can get away with it in films like this. But you can't get away with, like, gore.
Yeah.
You can't get away with, like, shit Saw pulls off. But this, all aboard. Sign me the fuck
I mean,
up.
in a movie where everybody has to be quiet, you don't have everybody screaming, "Oh fuck!" and stuff like that all the time.
It's new, inventive.
So.
And plus, that's the other thing about, you know, the daughter, where the daughter is missing, does not have, she's not able to hear. You know, like her going through that door and the hinge creaking, she wouldn't hear that, and that would put her in even greater danger. It's just like, oh gosh, and her being off on her own. Like, that's the other thing that I'm interested in seeing how this is all going to play out. But
they also kind of know how to fight them this time around too, though. But
well, yeah,
fighting them also could bring more. So
that's the thing. You see, you answer one question in the first one, but the response is often going to be like what the response of the aliens is going to be in the second one is just going to be even more like. It's going to answer you more questions.
The one thing that jumped out to me, though, was the experience that movie theaters were made for. And I was like, see, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm like, I do really want to see this in a movie theater. Cause, like, the first one was so good with the sound in the movie theater. It was so intense. And, like, I hope that's right. Like, I hope it, like, I think the same thing when I get out of this movie. And they were like, a worthy sequel, totally worth the wait. And I'm just like, dude, I fucking hope so.
I hope so too, man.
This is going to be, I'm so hyped now. Like, because of that. I hope they're right.
I hope so too, man. Because 3 more weeks. We got 3 more weeks to wait, and then we can watch this.
Yeah.
Cannot friggin' wait.
So I got slightly disappointed by one of the comedians' second movies, so hopefully the other one doesn't disappoint me.
We'll see. We'll see. Actually,
it's like if this movie is as good as like they say it is in that trailer, then like I'm gonna be like, John Krasinski, like I want to give you all of my money, like make all of the horror movies.
Yes.
Make more stuff. Doesn't just have to be A Quiet Place. Do other stuff too.
See, they took all the reviews off.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. I'm just like, how long was the first one? The first one was, so this one's a little bit longer.
It's amazing to me that even the critics fucking liked this. Like, critics never fucking give horror movies any credit.
Sometimes they do good.
Like, I think The Shining has, like, good critic reviews. Like, there's very few horror films that actually have good critic reviews. Like, critics usually just shit all over horror movies, even the good ones.
Yeah.
Like, if you look up reviews for, like, for example...
I know Saw, like, the first Saw movie...
Yeah, like, the first Saw has better reviews than I thought it did.
50.
No, actually it doesn't. Yeah, the critics shit on the first Saw.
Yeah.
Like, how do 50% of the people who watched that movie not be like, that was a good fucking horror movie?
Yeah. Cabin Fever, 62%. Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead remake, yeah. At least they appreciated the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Let's see.
That's been a while too, though. I mean, like
True.
Critics have drastically decreased in quality over the past several years.
I would say,
and disconnected from audiences way too far.
Yeah.
They got too stuck up and looked for way too much artsy shit in the movies that just isn't there in most of the experiences that we're looking for in the theaters.
That's true.
We usually go to see a good story and some cool stuff happen, and like they just want it to be super fucking artsy and make people rethink their lives for them to give it a good review.
And that's the one thing.
This movie didn't change my life. It was garbage, basically.
It Comes at Night. This one kind of scared me a little bit because I was just like, it got great reviews, but then the audience scored.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, though. It probably fucking changed a couple critics' lives, and that's why they're like, oh, it's amazing.
Well,
super artsy, but people probably went and watched it more like it was
I went and watched it.
My guess would be it was fucking boring, like, if I had to guess. Because that's usually what happens with movies that the critics rate high. They end up being fucking boring.
I'll say this. Yes and no. Because I watched this film, and I can appreciate this film for what it was. I know this film's not for everyone. But also, sometimes the critics hit the nail on the head like they did with Hereditary. But then, you look at the audience score on Hereditary, a lot lower than you'd expect. And then,
see, I thought Hereditary was a little overhyped from what I had heard about it. Because everybody was like, oh, like, everybody I talked to was like, it was amazing. And I was like, honestly, it was, mostly shock factor to me. And it wasn't really anything super great. And I thought the ending was a little bleh. But it was not bad. Like,
what about Midsommar?
Midsommar I actually liked more than Hereditary.
And that's the other thing. I like them both equally. I mean, that's just me, though.
Because Midsommar was also some shock factor, but I think it told a overall comprehensible, like, better story.
Yeah. Suspiria. Is this the remake?
I believe that's the original. Yeah, that's the original. Yeah, the original.
No, this is the remake.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, they made it look very classic in the.
Yeah, because that's Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, that's strange.
Suspiria. There it is. 77. 93, 83. So, yeah. There you go.
That's surprising to me. Like, that seemed like a movie the critics would have shit all over, but I guess it's just where it came out so long ago.
To you, they did, but then later on they retracted it and reposted, just like after considering. Because you see, sometimes critics do change their tone. For instance, Doug Walker. Doug Walker changed his tone on a movie, one that he got a lot of shit for. And me, I usually love Doug Walker, but for me, I think he was wrong in the regard that he held this film. Matilda. You remember Matilda?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good film.
So he said it was bad?
He said that he didn't get it. He didn't get, like, the whole
Well, see,
thing.
I haven't watched it since I was a kid, so I couldn't tell you 100%, but I do remember I really liked it.
Yeah, and I watched it, I think, a few years ago, and to me, I appreciate it in a different way now than I did from when I was a kid. Now, Doug eventually went back to it here recently and watched it and found himself liking it a whole lot. He said that he's glad he didn't make a Nostalgia Critic review on it back in the day because, like, he would have said things in it that honestly now he would find like, good Lord, man, shut the fuck up.
But yeah, Suspiria, like, I really like Suspiria, the original. I never saw the remake yet, but
Some people
the
say
original
remake's
was like something that I've always wished I could find more of, which is basically a very stream of consciousness style horror.
Yeah.
Like, it was so strange and nightmarish, and I really like horror stuff like that. Like, I like when people, like, make horror movies. Like obviously, I really like stuff like A Quiet Place, where it's done really well with, a tangible plot and occurrences and threats and stuff. But I also really like when people, like, show me stuff that just looks like they pulled it out of their fucking nightmares, too. That's why I like The Void. The Void is a lot like that. It's like nightmare fuel, basically. Like, and it's stream of consciousness type shit where you're just like, what the fuck is happening? I don't really know what's happening, but it's fucking metal. You know what I mean?
Fuck.
And another one is fuck.
I don't know that.
Forgot the name of it now. Never mind. Well, Silent Hill does that sometimes too. Like, Silent Hill actually has like a tangible explanation for why, but like their other world and stuff, really seems very stream of consciousness, like nightmarish a lot of the time, and I love stuff like that. The one time I didn't really like it, and I didn't really agree with the responses from everybody else, was probably most recently that I can think of was Tetsuo the Iron Man, because I'd always heard, like, this is a really good horror movie, really good body horror and stuff, and I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Also, I'm seeing
I was like, maybe if I watched that, like, 10 years ago, I would have been like, that was bitching, but I was just like, what the hell was that?
Also, where we're pretty much sharing the same Google Chrome account, I'm looking down here, female version name of Freddy, and I'm like, wait a second.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was
trying to think
around by Lady Demetrisu, all of a sudden you were just like, oh hey, it's Freda.
I was trying to think like what a good name would be. I was like Frida Krueger. Yeah.
Well, she does got the long ass knives for fingers. So yeah. But okay, I think that's gonna do it, everyone. This was A Quiet Place Part 2 final trailer. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and hopefully we will see you all in the next one. So I guess until then, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
See you then, everyone. Peace out.